Hello everyone, it's Eddy the Chump coming back with another video, and what we have today is my first Gears of War Judgment video on this channel. So yeah, this episode is going to be multifaceted. So I'm going to take you through what my history with Gears is, and pardon me if I sound like I've still got a cold, that's because I do. The gameplay is just quick match TDMs, nothing special, and I completely whore out the boomer, but don't hate me. Okay, so my history with Gears of War. Okay. Gears of War 1 was the first online shooter that I really played with friends, like, quite a lot. And a lot of people's first, well, this isn't even an FPS, but sort of like a competitive shooter is probably Halo, you know, of our generation, online especially. But mine wasn't. Mine was Gears of War 1, and I loved it to pieces. I played it for a solid year. I actually missed out on a lot of COD 4 because of Gears of War 1, and it was only really when Gears of War 2 came out and the online was so bad on launch that I really started playing COD. I mean, I played a bit of COD 4 now and again, but most of my friends were Gears players, and I loved it. And I loved wall bouncing, and I loved shotgunning, and I just loved the whole feel of that game, how it was like it almost felt like a survival horror shooter. You know, the campaign was unlike anything I'd ever played. And it was one of those games that convinced me to get an Xbox, because I actually didn't have one. This is Gears of War and Oblivion, Elder Scrolls Oblivion, are the reasons I got back into gaming, because I was at university and I didn't have a console or anything. So Gears has a special place in my heart, but I have a bit of a checkered history with it. Gears of War 2 on release was one of my least favourite games, and this is before the time that I knew about making your connection as good as it can be for gaming. So I'd play with like torrents on, and I'd play split screen with Jim. A lot of mine and Jim's best memories come from Gears 2, even though it was the most frustrating game in the world for us, because we didn't do ourselves any favours in the way that we played the game, like online. It was still, you know, still massively fond. I'm massively fond of Gears 2, because I'll get into why later. And I played the Gears beta and I loved it, and I was really looking forward to it. The connection seemed crisp. If there was ever a criticism of Gears, it's that it had sort of like Treyarch-like connections. So what was and wasn't a kill would vary between matches depending on whose host it was. And this is Gears 1 and 2 were like peer-to-peer clients, so whoever had host was virtually indestructible. And in Gears 1 you could choose to be host, but you couldn't in Gears 2. So it was just one of those things, you know, you'd have to take the connection on the chin. And with the Gears beta, they said, you know, we're bringing dedicated servers out. Epic made all the right noises for what they were going to do to make their game as enjoyable as possible. And I have to say, I was really enthused by the beta. You know, the Retro Lancer and Sawed-Off Shotgun hadn't hit the mass populace yet, hadn't hit all the new players that were going to come from COD. Not that I mind Gears having new players, but anyway, that's a whole other issue. But when Gears 3 came out, I found that it played nothing like the beta. In fact, that the connections were in fact more akin to Gears 2 on launch than anything else. Now, a lot of people say that that's quite rare, that a lot of people, you know, really like Gears 3, and really their problems with it are weapon balancing. That's not the case for me. I hated Gears. I played hardly any of it. Jim still played Gears, and a friend of mine called Jake, who's incredible at Gears, kept playing it just through all the stuff that I didn't like. But the main reason why I didn't like Gears 3 is because they introduced the Retro Lancer and they made the rifles like a viable part of the game. And by this point, I was already pretty damn good at Call of Duty. So I was playing COD a lot. And the thing I found was that I didn't want Gears to be like COD, right? So I didn't want Gears to have rifles in it. And the reason why that is because, to me, and I know this is different for loads of other people, but to me, Gears is it's a different kind of fun. I get a different joy from Gears than I do COD. If I want to sort of like play tactically and be smart and use long-range weapons, I play COD, and I'm very, very good at that. You know, if I don't say so myself, but I am. I'm very good at it. I don't play Gears for that. I play Gears for the Nasher. I play Gears for the different aspects of gaming that it gives to me, like the different joy. And I found Gears 3 really encouraged people to play defensive. Now, there's such a thing that I call as Gears Flow, and that basically consists of, like, if everyone's using Nashers, then it's a fight to get in, you know, to to like the terms wolf packing, but it's a fight to get, you know, people outnumbered in Nasher fights and turn the battle in your favour. Also, you know, the odd bit of wall bounce showing off or a nice, you know, little bit of strafing doesn't go amiss. And every map has like a pull and flow, like an ebb and flow is actually the term, when people are using Nashers. And that doesn't happen when you make assault rifles too good, because it makes people who are afraid of dying sit back and use assault rifles. And that was my main problem with Gears 3. Now, Jim said that there are ways to get around it, but I didn't feel like I should have to. This is Gears of War, it's not Call of Duty. I don't want that from my Gears. I want to run about with a Nasher. You know, I'm using a boomer in it. I think I get like 9 kills with a boomer in this game. But you know, that's what I like from Gears. I know a lot of Gears people are saying things like, well, you can't play the same game year in year out. No, do you know what? I pretty much could. I could if the detection was better and they made you know, Nash's hit counts more, so they made the connection more reliable, then I would play the same game every year. I literally would. I don't know how I get Superman there, but anyway. But my point, right, so what I want to talk about is Gears Judgment, and my review of Gears Judgment. When Judgment first came out, I was really skeptical, because I'd had my opinion of Gears ruined by Gears 3. And when it first came out, I have to say, I was so happy. I was so happy. It seemed like they fixed the hit detection. If anything, I found the Nasher more reliable in Gears Judgment than I ever did in Gears 3, which is, I know, to most people crazy. But I did. The bullets now come out the centre of the screen like Gears 1, which always suits me. I'm a COD player, bullets come out the centre of the screen there. So I was happier. And the gun balance was right. The assault rifles were weaker again. And just recently, they've updated it so that the assault rifles are more powerful again. They've got a 25% buff. I've got one gameplay, right, where I pick up someone's Lancer and destroy with it. It's outrageous. Anyway, more Gears videos to come.